So to make Béarnaise, first I'm going to make a sabayon using those 2 egg yolks. They are sitting right now in some water, the water I'll be using to make that sabayon. I'm going to make first a sabayon with those 2 egg yolks. Then I will add to that sabayon, to get to my sauce-Hollandaise, some clarified butter. I have around 200 milliliters of clarified butter right here. Some diced shallot, 150 milliliters of water. I have 1 diced shallot here, a large shallot. Some diced shallot, 150 milliliters of water. I have 1 diced shallot here, a large shallot. Some mignonette, peppercorn that's been crushed. Dried tarragon. Some vinegar, 80 milliliters of white vinegar. To finish that sauce Béarnaise, I will use some chopped chervil and chopped tarragon herb. I will also season it at the end with a little salt and black pepper, ground black pepper. Thank you for watching. We need first to make a sabayon. I have here with me 2 egg yolks and with 60 milliliters of water. Okay, I'm going to create with that a sabayon, meaning I'm going to put them into my bowl here, which is on top of a little bain-marie, as I call. I pan some water into it, bring that to a simmer, put the bowl, I'm going to add my ingredient. I will then stir it till I get to a nice thick and airy consistency. It should form at that point what we call the ribbon, or you could be able to draw a line on your egg mixture, and the line should stay for at least a minimum of 6 seconds. That's a good way to know when your sabayon is actually cooked. Important point, you want to make sure that the bottom of the bowl is not in contact with actual water here that be boiling. It needs to be, I will say, a nice inch above the level of the water. If it's touched the water directly, there's a big chance you might dry and overcook your sabayon, I would say, may become grainy. So make sure you have room between those two. Here, this is a glass bowl, which I like because the heat is not too aggressive, too quick. When you use a metal bowl, there's a chance that your sabayon might dry a little bit, but it'll work fine too. Okay, so I'm going to add my egg yolk and water here into the bowl. Put that on, and I'm going to stir it. So the water is going to boil, create steam, and that steam is actually going to cook my egg mixture. Thing important, the bowl needs to be at the same size, I will say, of your saucepan here. If it was too large, if my bowl comes too much on the outside and you're on a gas heat, the dry heat will come and dry the egg on the side of your bowl. So make sure that you have the appropriate bowl for the appropriate saucepan. It's important. Sometimes your hollandaise may break as you add your clarified butter to it, and it usually breaks if the sabayon is not cooked enough, or if you added the butter too quick. But overcooking your sabayon might not help to get the perfect result. So it's very important to cook it to the right stage, which I'll show you in a moment. Another sign that your sabayon is almost ready is when you start seeing the bottom of the bowl. Now as I stir, I cannot see the bottom, but at one point I will make like a line, and that's another sign that you know that your sabayon is almost ready. Here I'm doing what we call the figure 8. I'm drawing an 8 into the egg mixture, and I make sure to go all around here, all on the edge, so it doesn't dry there. I'm going to remove it first a little bit, and I'm going to stir it like that on the side. I'm just going to cook it slowly while it's off the heat. Then I will go back on the heat. getting thicker. It's a little too liquid still. Make sure to go on the edge of your bowl so it doesn't dry. This is where it starts drying usually. And keep in mind that if you dry the sabayon here, what you dry actually won't be there when it's time to add your butter. And it's like you're losing a little bit of the amount of egg you should really have if you're just drying them. And then if you add them to the hollandaise as you incorporate your clarified butter, it's going to make your hollandaise grainy, and you want to prevent that. So it makes what we call the hook. It's a nice little hook here. It's ready. Time to add the butter. Make sure that the butter is hot when you add it to your sabayon. If not, you're just going to make a cold sauce hollandaise, which is not really good. At one point, if you see that your sabayon is getting a little thick, you could add also a drop of water to it. Warm water. Could be the water you add in your saucepan when you cook your sabayon. If it's get too thick. Here it's getting a little thick, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a little bit of water, warm water here, and stir that in to thin it out a little bit. Then I'm going to add more of my clarified butter. And you just stir it slowly. So keep in mind, you do not want to add your butter too fast. It's very, very important. So when do I know that it's ready? Okay, I'm going to add the rest here. Up. Beautiful. Look how nice and smooth that is. Okay, so now we finished. We added all the butter. Okay, at that point I can turn that into a sauce hollandaise or a sauce béarnaise. If I want to do a sauce béarnaise, I will add my béarnaise reduction. I'm going to have some shallots here. One large ciseler shallot, 150 milliliters of water, 80 milliliters of white wine vinegar, my dry tarragon, mignonette of black peppercorn, and we're going to let that cook till come to a nice and syrupy consistency. I will then add that reduction to my sabayon that I made. So it's almost done reducing here, and it's been on for a good 5 minutes. It needs to be almost dry, just a tiny bit of moisture should be left. I will then going to strain the left of that liquid, making sure I squeeze as much of liquid as I can of shallots and dry herbs and everything. I will make sure I push it through my china cup very well on my sieve to get as much of the juice as possible. Okay, so I'm going to strain it right now. I'm going to use that little bowl here. Put my little sieve on top of that, and I'm gonna add it here like that. Now I'm going to push through that very well to make sure that I extract as much flavor as possible into my reduction. So some people like to add that to the Béarnaise. I don't mind it really. You just want to make sure that the peppercorn, the mignonette, is very, very thin, so you know it's not too strong when you eat it. But it gives a nice texture also to your Béarnaise. So you know, if you feel like you want to eat those little pieces of shallots and those peppercorn, feel free to just add them directly with the liquid to your sabayon. Okay, so it's drained well. Nice little liquid here. I'm going to add that now to my sauce, kind of Hollandaise that I have here. Okay, I'm taking my juice, add it into it. I'm going now to add my chopped tarragon, the chopped chervil, and here we are. I'm going to check on the seasoning. A tiny bit more salt, of course. And I'm pretty proud of the sauce Béarnaise that I just made here. I'm going to show you how I coat the back of the spool very well. This is what we call nappen. See, we have a beautiful sauce that will coat any meat, poached egg, fish very well, and it tastes delicious. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that quick demo on how to make a sauce Béarnaise. Press the like button and subscribe.